back to Sports Universe. As I mentioned before, we're going to dive into my Week 8 NFL predictions. To start off with the Thursday night game, which will include the Dolphins and the Ravens. That will be on 8:25 on Thursday. Honestly, I think this game is going to rely on the play of both teams' quarterbacks, most likely Matt Moore for Miami and the inconsistent Joe Flacco for Baltimore. Both teams have impressive front sevens, so establishing the run game is going to be key to the success in this. Whoever I think has the better run game is going to win the game. Expect this game to be very low scoring, with each team making key defensive plays that will ultimately determine the outcome. I'm going to go with the Dolphins 20 and the Ravens 10. To start the Sunday slate, you have the Vikings against the Browns at 9:30 a.m. in London. To keep this short and sweet, the Browns are the Browns. If you have two quarterbacks, as they do now in Kevin Hogan and Deshaun Kaiser, you basically have none. The Browns haven't shown the ability to move the ball on offense against anybody. I don't expect them to do anything on Minnesota's defense. For Minnesota's side, the loss of Teddy Bridgewater last year and the loss of Dalvin Cook this year has really put them in a hole. If it wasn't for those injuries, I think they'd be a Super Bowl contender. But they've managed to get through it. And Sam Bradford's hurt now, so they've turned to the third quarterback, which is Case Keenum, and he's doing an average job. He's game managing it. Latavius Murray and Jerick McKinnon have taken over as the team's lead backs. Stephon Diggs and Adam Thielen are one of the NFL's best wide receiver duo. Kyle Rudolph is a threat in the red zone. I don't expect this game to be anywhere close. I'm going to go with the Vikings 30 and the Browns 6. Chargers at the Patriots. The Chargers are riding high right now on a 3-game win streak after starting the season 0-4. They're right back in the thick of things in the AFC. Sadly for them, they're running into a very confident New England team. The first half of the season, first quarter of the season, New England has not been very great on the defensive end of the field, giving up 300 yards passing to every quarterback they faced up until last week against I'm trying to remember who they played last week. That doesn't matter. So expect Phillip Rivers to have a nice day through the air, but ultimately Tom Brady at his best at age 40 is still better than Phillip Rivers at his best at age 36. Brady's going to pick apart the Chargers defense the best he can, and expect the Patriots to win this one 35-20. Next we got Bears at the Saints. Out of nowhere, the Saints are now leading the NFC West, and the NFC South. And honestly, I couldn't be more surprised. After an 0-2 start, and Drew Brees wasn't looking too hot, I wrote them off. I didn't think they were going to come back. I didn't think they were going to do much. But after they have gotten rid of Adrian Peterson, Mark Ingram has come into his own. Alvin Kamara, rookie running back from Tennessee, has added a nice third down spark, kind of like a Darren Sproles back in the New Orleans prime days and New Orleans dynasty they had going on. For at one time we thought one of the worst defenses in NFL history, New Orleans, are slowly and quietly making some noise and making some plays and keeping their team in games. And don't write them out if you see them against a top offense, for fantasy owners. If you see one of your players is playing New Orleans, you used to pencil them in as starters. Now I wouldn't say that necessarily. They have a nice young core going on down there, and I don't think Mitchell Trubisky is going to get much going against them from the Bears' point of view. Jordan Howard's going to have a tough sledding inside, I think, and I'm going to pick the Saints to win this game 23-10. Next, I have Panthers at Buccaneers. To be playing with this, neither team has shown the ability to be consistent in any aspect of their game. Carolina's defense on the side, they've been consistent all year. Thomas Davis and Luke Kuechly have been manning down the middle of the defense. But it all depends on the quarterback play of Cam Newton. Are you going to get 2015 MVP Cam Newton, or are you going to get inaccurate, below average, upset, disgruntled Cam Newton? MVP Cam Newton can lead you to 12-plus wins and have the best record in the NFC, or the best offense in the league. But angry Cam can lead you to 7 wins and a laughingstock of the league. On the other hand, the Bucs, at the end of their game against the Bills last week, had seemed to catch a rhythm. I don't know if it was just because they were down and they needed some points, or if they if this is a trend going forward for them. But I think Jameis is going to rally his troops, and they're going to get this win 23-17 this week, and challenge the Saints in the NFC South. And I think ultimately towards the end of the year they're going to take the division. Next up, I have the Colts at the Bengals. Don't look now, but Andy Dalton has been somewhat decent in his past 4 games, throwing for 9 touchdowns, which is more than 2 per game after his abysmal start to the season. But the thing that has Cincy not done well this year that they have done in the past is establish a running game. They used to have Cedric Benson. Last year they had Jeremy Hill, Gio Bernard. They had running backs who were consistently around 100 yards a game, which would help Andy Dalton out in the long run. It would open up the play action for him. He'd be able to hit Eifert over the middle. They'd be able to hit A.J. Green. He'd be able to utilize all of his weapons. Now teams just zone in on Andy Dalton, and he's feeling the pressure on his shoulders. He's forcing balls. He isn't as accurate. He's not the Andy Dalton we're used to seeing. So the Colts this week coming into town, I think that they're gonna try to establish the run game with Joe Mixon after he was unhappy with his workload last week. I think that they'll get that going. They'll tell you and they'll let you know that Cincinnati football is still there. They're gonna chew them on the clock, and Indianapolis' defense can't stop a nosebleed. Shout out to Bart Scott on that one. And I think the Bengals are going to win 30-10. Raiders at Bills. Derek Carr is back and he's healthy. Marshawn Lynch is suspended for 1 game after an altercation with a referee. And we really hope that the dynamic duo of Amari Cooper and Michael Crabtree is back. Cooper had a quiet 3 weeks where he didn't really get much attention. Surprisingly, the 4-2 Buffalo Bills, led by quarterback Tyrod Taylor, are in the thick of things in the AFC East with the Patriots. I think that they're going to be able to establish a run game against, in my opinion, a weak Raiders defensive front. Expect LaShawn McCoy to have another good game, as he will build off of his performance of last week. And I'm going to go with the Bills in this one, 24-21. I'm not really sold on Oakland yet. They've been too inconsistent for me. I think that their defense, I don't really like it. Not a fan. 49ers at the Eagles. The Eagles are the best team in the NFC, hands down. Carson Wentz is playing like an MVP. Zach Ertz has established himself as a top tight end. And Alshon Jeffrey, Nelson Aguilar, Torrey Smith is a solid receiving core that Wentz is going to be able to feed off of and hit his open targets. I really like LeGarrette Blount around the goal line. I'm a big fan of Wendell Smallwood. This is a traditional trap game for them, though. You got the winless 49ers coming into town. Eagles coming off a very emotional win against a division rival on Monday night in prime time. This could be a letdown game where they let their foot slip off the gas pedal a little bit and don't play to their ability. I expect Doug Peterson, who I think is one of the better coaches in the league, to keep them on track, and Philly will roll 35-13. Falcons at the Jets. To be quite honest, the Jets are less than 10 plays away, this season from being 5-2. A couple plays against New England, a couple plays last week in their blow up against the Dolphins. But instead, can't harp on the past. They're 3-4. Or they're going to host 3-3 Falcons this week. Atlanta is coming off an embarrassing loss to New England last Sunday night. Matt Ryan should look heavily towards Julio Jones and look to feed the ball to Devontae Freeman this week, as the Jets have shown no ability to stop the run and no ability to cover a wide receiver for more than 25 yards down the field, especially if they have Buster Screen on them. Morris Claiborne has surprised me very well this season, but if Josh McCown isn't perfect this game, I don't think that the Jets have any shot at winning this. Expected to be relatively close up until the fourth quarter. I'm going to go with the Falcons 28 and the Jets 14. To start off for 4 o'clock games, we have the Texans at Seattle. This is going to be the first real test for rookie quarterback Deshaun Watson, as he comes off a bye week this week, and he's going to be playing in the most electric and loud atmosphere in the NFL, which is Seattle. Seattle is coming off of a 24-7 road win against the Giants. That was kind of expected. I didn't really think that people were on the Giants bandwagon after one win. Russell Wilson, I think, will once again be running for his life back there after his offensive line doesn't hold up protection for him. I think this is going to be a very tightly contested game, and in the end, I ultimately think that Houston and Deshaun Watson are going to pull it out with a score of 21-20. This is going to be Deshaun Watson's "I'm here" game, statement game, as you would call it in college, like a Heisman game. I think that he's going to establish himself as a legit NFL QB. The 4:25 game I have, which is Dallas at Washington. Whenever NFC East rivals meet, you always know it's going to be a competitive game and a loud atmosphere. Don't expect anything less when these two NFC powerhouses face off. Dak Prescott, in my eyes, is second in the MVP voting behind Carson Wentz, although you could make a case for either or. Ezekiel Elliott seems to be back in his rookie year form, running over people after his 200 plus yards from scrimmage game last week against the 49ers, as well as 3 touchdowns. Jason Witten and Dez Bryant seem like they're coming in their own with a touchdown respectively last week. For Washington, Kirk Cousins, he is he's in the same category as Matt Stafford. He's in the same category as a Matt Ryan. QBs who get the job done will get you to the playoffs, and then, exception for Matt Ryan last year, and he led the Falcons to the Super Bowl, will keep you in games, but don't have that it factor that can bring you over the top. I just don't see it yet. But Chris Thompson is explosive out of the backfield. I think this will be a very, very tightly contested game, and I think the Cowboys will pull it out 35-24. And the nightcap on Sunday is the Steelers at the Lions. The Steelers are hitting their groove. Big Ben is back. Le'Veon Bell is about time they started utilizing the way they should be. Antonio Brown is Antonio Brown. Juju Smith-Schuster, on the other hand, is the new NFL character with his touchdown celebrations. I'm hoping he gets in the end zone next week so I can see what else he has in store. Martavius Bryant, I just found out before I came here, will not play on Sunday. So expect Smith-Schuster to get some looks, Antonio Brown to get more looks, Bell to be a lot more involved. On the Lions side, I think in order for them to win this game, they're going to need to establish a run game early. Teams have shown you can run the ball on the Pittsburgh front seven. Leonard Fournette, 181 yards. The Jordan Howard, Tariq Cohen combo in Chicago, 218 yards. And Dalvin Cook had 90 yards. So if they can establish Abdullah and Theo Riddick early, that'll open up some plays for Golden Tate down the field. Marvin Jones Jr., Matt Stafford will be able to have some time back there because they're not going to be sending the house at him. But in the end, I think the Steelers are going to take this game 26-14. And to finish the week on Monday night, you have the Broncos at the Chiefs. The new big three of Kareem Hunt, Tyreek Hill, and Travis Kelce is something that the league should be paying attention to. And so are the Chiefs. Although they are coming off of 2 straight losses. I think that they're going to bounce back relatively nice against a reeling Denver team. Although Denver's defense is solid, I think the Chiefs are going to be able to dissect it. Andy Reid is a outstanding offensive mind, and I think Denver's going to have some trouble generating some offense. Expect the Chiefs to win 21-10. That concludes my Week 8 NFL picks, as well as my show for today. Tune in on next Wednesday at 4 for the next episode of Sports Universe.